and welcome back to my channel. Today I was going to talk about, well, I know my hair's wet and no makeup, but I thought I'm just going to make a video and this is me. But today I wanted to talk about, because I love travel and I do want to talk about traveling on my channel and where I've gone and where I want to go, but I thought I would address traveling while you're a plus size woman, because it is a little different. And I get that, like, I looked up things to worry about, things to look out for, so I thought I'd share my experience as a plus size woman traveling to Europe. My first trip to Iceland, I was about 40 pounds lighter. Yeah, about 40 pounds lighter, maybe 45. And I was still a size 22. I didn't notice I was not uncomfortable. I mean, you're not really comfortable on a plane anyway. But I never felt, you know, like people were looking at me, I never felt self-conscious about that. And I didn't have to get an extender for the seat. It was never a big deal. The only time it ever came up was I had signed up for a glacier hike, and it said that it was just like a walk and it was just really light. Well, I think our guide, he went a little overboard, because it wasn't like hard. It was a challenge, but at one point it was pretty steep, and we had on oh, I forget what they're called. I want to say crampons, but I don't. Crampons. So it's like stakes on your bottom of your feet to like grab the ice. But we were doing this like really steep part, and I noticed he was parallel to me, walking on the like below me. And I thought that was pretty funny, because I'm like, look, if I fall down this glacier, you're not going to catch me. But then again, he's Icelandic, and it's like typically the strongest men in the world are from Iceland, so maybe he could have caught me. But I was like, dude, if I fall, you know, I'm taking you out with me. You're not going to rescue me. But anyway, that was the only time where I was like, that was hard, and I did not feel that it was a fair description. It was not an easy hike. It was, you know, but then again, I don't know. I've never had an easy hike. I call that walking. But again, like, no problems in Iceland. I didn't feel like I stood out. Actually, the funny part, I went to a Domino's next to this food place, and they mistook me for a local, and they started speaking Icelandic to me, and I had to tell them that I was not. Oh, cat. I was not Icelandic. Sorry, the cat is wanting to be in my video. All right, so if anything, I was mistaken for a local, so that kind of made me feel good. And then a few years later, I was going to London, Paris, and Rome, and I gained 45 pounds, and I was like, I'm a little nervous about that. I looked on sites, and people were saying, why are you nervous about that? That's not real. I was like, no, Americans, we judge. You know, we really judge. So anyway, so I thought the most humiliating thing that can happen to me was I would need an extender for my seatbelt. I thought that would be the worst thing on a flight besides it crashing. So I get on the plane, and I packed all sorts of pretty outfits. I had, you know, like, I really wanted to feel pretty in Europe, and so I get on the plane, and the seatbelt doesn't fit, and I was heartbroken. I was trying not to cry, and I'd asked the attendant for an extender, and, you know, he got me an extender, and I was like, this is the worst thing that could happen on a plane ever. And then it's kind of like the universe was like, oh, really, Laura, this is what you think is the worst thing that could happen? It didn't crash, but it was the worst flight I was ever on, because the extender made the seatbelt more comfortable, to be honest with you. It was the most comfortable seatbelt I'd ever had on a plane. Because, like, it was funny, because even though I needed an extender, tightening it as tight as it went, it was still really loose on me. So I was like, oh, I barely need an extender. And then the guy next to me was this man sprawler, and he was like totally spread his knees apart, and so I'm scrunched off to the side. And then there was a crying baby in front of me. And then the man sprawler started snoring, like really loud, like bear in a cave snoring. And then the dude next to me, who was this cute, you know, like younger guy, we actually became friends on the flight because the flight was so awful. So the dude next to me, he was able to sleep some, but he started twitching, and he was jerking in his sleep. So I had the man sprawler, I was up this side, he was snoring, this dude was twitching, the baby was crying, and then I had headphones, I had the whole thing, and it was not working. And then just when I thought like everything started calming down, I was like, I could get some sleep. The plane hit turbulence, and so everybody woke up, baby cried, man, it was. So I learned, like, on the next flight from Paris to Rome, I was like, give me the seatbelt extender. I don't even care anymore. But it was so cute because this guy, he was bringing it to me he was so discreet about it, placed it in my hand, and he's like, okay. But like I said, after that horrible, horrible flight to London, I'm like, seatbelt extender, right here, please. I need it, thank you. Because I'm like, no, I'm not embarrassed about that anymore. And again, it was a little too loose on me, so there you go. And then my flight back from Rome to Minneapolis, I think. I didn't need one, I fit the seatbelt. At that point, I was like, oh, when you stop caring about it. And then, so that was my seatbelt extender. Some people recommend you buy your own so you don't have to ask for it. I don't want to because, to be honest, like, I don't care if I'm ever super skinny. However, being the weight I am is something I do want to change, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with women who want to stay at the size that they are. I think that's great. But for me, health-wise, I do want to lose some pounds, so at least I can lose the 45 pounds that I gained in the last couple of years, because I think that's reasonable. So anyway, so I don't want my own extender, but that is an option for people who want to do that. But while I was in London, I never felt anyone judging me for my weight. I think that is sadly a strictly American thing. One of the things to remember when you travel to Europe is that since it's so old, it was built for the people at the time, and the people at the time were short and skinny. So there are a lot of narrow things, and the obesity has spread to other countries. And it's not like, you know, some people have always been kind of bigger. I don't know the history of the size of people, except for the fact that a lot of times when you travel to Europe, things are narrow and they're built that way, and they've been that way for centuries. So I wasn't uncomfortable. Showers maybe a little skinnier, that didn't bother me. I did feel pretty in Paris. I got catcalled, and which is, you're supposed to be offended as a woman, but I never get catcalled, so I was kind of pleasantly surprised. And then it was funny because the guy who was catcalling me, when I turned to look, like, do you mean me? Like, what? He gave me the thumbs up to know that I know he was catcalling me. And like I said, I never get catcalled, and to be honest, if you're gonna be catcalled anywhere, the streets of Paris, I'm okay with that, you know, like, as a feminist, I want to be like, no, but deep inside, I was like, hee, I'm pretty. So, and like I said, I never felt, like, me having to push out a chair a little bit, it was really not a big deal. It was funny, nobody, in Rome, like, the guy going around singing, he sang, it's like, no, the only one who was hung up on my weight in Europe was me. And I let it go, so it was an awesome. So anyway, that is my experience. I'm always terrified that they're going to look at me and say that I need to buy an extra seat, which has never been the case. That's just my own fear, and it's not my size. I'm not at that size, so traveling while you're bigger is scary. And then I saw the dear fat people rant about somebody who's like fat on them, and I don't think, like, me spilling over to another seat, I really try not to do that. But then you have the people who fit in a seat who man sprawl, and I think that's far worse, because, you know, I had enough room in my spot, but when you take over your spot and there's no reason to, like, you know, man sprawlers, I feel sorry for the dude next to me because he had no choice. I was pretty much in his lap. And, you know, we made friends and talked about it later. But, so yeah, so that's my story. And I do recommend traveling to Europe. I recommend going somewhere where weight and being judged by your weight is not an issue, because it makes you realize just, you know, how pretty you are, and how you don't really, not needing that approval is very freeing. And it makes me sad that Americans do that, but I know at some point they do it. Like, I'm not going to say, like, oh, all over Europe they accept you. I don't think they care, really. Like, if I was judged, people kept it to themselves. So I never felt that. And yeah, and I'm going back. So there you go. Yay. So anyway, so that's like my experience, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please hit the like button. And if you're interested in what I have to say, like I said, I do want to talk about traveling more. I haven't finished a book, but I plan on just kind of being my life. So if you're interested, please subscribe to my channel and have a great day. And look me up on Twitter, and I'm on Snapchat and Instagram, and yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.